Love is in the air. I don't care if Valentine's Day has already passed. I'm always into cutesy romance, even though I've never actually experienced it. Maybe it's because I'm a Valentine's Day baby. Love is just injected into my bloodstream at all times. Aside from love, drawing fun poses. To convey emotions through body language alone is so amazing to me. It is what makes me love being an artist, in my opinion. But what I also love, I'm going to be saying love a lot, aren't I, in this video? Anyways, is couple interactions. It is one of the most difficult things to draw. There are so many obstacles that arise when you're drawing two lovers. Are the size of the characters consistent? Is there a strong silhouette even though there's literal overlapping bodies happening in the pose? Why do they look so stiff and not in love? If you are having these struggles, you have gone to the right place because I'm pretty good at posing characters. Don't believe me? Look at my Instagram and you should follow me there. Don't look at my most recent works though, they've been lacking in the posing department. Don't you fret though, I got you. You will ace drawing romance in no time. But even then, one of the main reasons why I love drawing lovers is because of the struggle. It's the journey to capturing a precious moment. The final result of drawing a couple is worth it in the end though. Who doesn't like seeing their original characters looking like they're in a long line at an amusement park? The tutorial will now commence. I have whipped up some important essentials to what you'll need to make your characters truly lovey-dovey. Let's get into it! Follow me! Having a reference is a helpful tool to aid you in your drawing process. It presents you with an understanding of anatomy and how clothes fall on the body. But of course you don't always need to have this tool if you have a pose that's really set in stone in your mind. Like for example, this doodle that I did of Ranma and Akane. I was just in a nice flow state of mind and bam, I was done. But I recommend if you're trying to do a well-finished piece of art, it's nice to create a mood board with some references. For today, I chose this picture I found on Pinterest, and the characters I'll be using as guinea pigs for this operation will be my original characters, Taylor and Andrew from my webtoon. Now that you have your reference, I want you to take it in. What do you like about it? For me, I love how the two are leaning into each other and how they're on the phone. Now I want you to put that reference in your canvas and shrink it and put it in the corner. Don't draw over it. If you're still trying to understand anatomy, you can do that. But here's the thing. My characters wouldn't pose like the two in the photo because they're totally different people. As I said before, poses show emotion, but also someone's personality. A good example of this is seeing the animation test of the characters from Big Hero 6 sitting down. Everyone moves differently and are distinct from one another. So that's why I put the reference in the corner to look as a vague guide instead of just drawing over it. But even if you heavily use the reference, you can push it. The reference isn't the end all be all. You can use it however you want to. A good example to get what I'm saying here is my dancing piece of these two same characters. Here was the reference. All I did was push Taylor's pose to create a stronger silhouette overall. Now, you can use contrast in many ways when it comes to a couple drawing. Let's look at my sketch so far. For starters, look at the contrasting shapes. Andrew's pose is angular. It has sharp, fine edges, while Taylor's is round and curvy. The character's position can also elevate the distinction between the two characters. Taylor is lower, almost laying on Andrew, and he's sitting upright, higher in the piece. He's leaning down while she's facing up. You get the gist of what I'm trying to say, right? Try to push the characters to contrast one another as much as possible. It displays literal eye candy for the viewer. If the characters are in the same pose, it is pretty lackluster and isn't dynamic. And of course, contrast and personalities play the biggest role. And you can add that in any part of the artwork. The clothing style these two are wearing are quite opposite. Andrew's is loose and flowy, Taylor's is form-fitting. Look at how they're using their respected phone. Taylor is twiddling with the wire, trying to listen in who's speaking to her on it. Andrew is leaning over, trying to hear what she's up to. He couldn't care less who's on his line. You can even put personality with the props. I decided to make the phones look different from one another and reflect their shapes. Taylor's phone is round, while Andrew's is angular. I love how dainty and cutesy Taylor's is. I miss retro phones. It's so fluffy. Now, the biggest hiccup people get when drawing characters interact is trying to create a strong silhouette, but how can you do that if the characters are literally overlapping one another? It's more simple than you think. Create space. Break from the blob. Now, what do I mean by that? Do you see the hole that's in the middle of the characters? If you bring in spaces like that, it makes a more readable pose, instead of just seeing the two just smushed together. You need to give the viewer easy cues to understand what they're looking at, and space is key. Another way to break from the blob is to spread out the character's limbs. That sounds weird coming out of my mouth. I think I just don't know how to describe that in one sentence. Do you see how her foot is sticking out? Or how his leg is not connecting or overlapping the other? I pose them like that so we can take in the pose and not just see a blob of overlapping connecting limbs. It's just making it easier to see. Okay, I know I just said chill with having limbs overlapping, but hear me out for a second. I enjoy playing with the character's closeness, and what overlap can do is bring that to the table. How, you may ask? Well, let me tell you, like, dang, this is why you're here, you're watching the tutorial, okay? Sorry. Look at the pose pretty closely. Taylor's head is over Andrew's shoulder, but her torso is behind his, and then his knee is closer to the foreground. It's like the two are interwoven with one another. I think playing with this aspect of overlapping can enhance the lovey-dovey meter. It brings some sort of intimacy with the characters in such a subtle way, but it's also really strong as well. It just feels so human for some reason. I can't describe why. Now, little details are what seals the deal for the drawing, in my opinion. It's like adding the eye shine. It's just like the finishing touch to perfection. One little detail I love doing, specifically if the characters are smushed real close, is making the characters' hair entangled with each other. I just think this brings some amount of comfortability to the couple, showing their closeness to one another. I know probably no one would notice this, but I love it. When I draw a fancy dress on Taylor, I match it to Andrew's eye color, which is her favorite color. I wonder why. These two are so cute. Other examples of this could be matching lockets, combing through their hair, holding hands, having a character wear something of their partner's like a jacket, and that's when contrasting outfit styles are really important if you want to get that point across to the viewer without actually telling them. Distinction is key, people. You didn't think I would leave you there, right? You can listen to advice, but putting it to good use is another thing. A thing that can help you improve your lovey-dovey meter by tenfold. So here are some exercises you should try with your OCs to implement these tips. I call these the jazzy exercises to love. Number 1, hugging. Hugging is the most difficult things to draw when you're battling to make a strong silhouette. So I think if you have a knack of drawing a hug, you can develop stronger dynamic poses in the long run. It'll also let you study how to draw comfort in interlocking limbs. It can be hard to make hugging look like a true loving one, so I think getting the hang of drawing hugging is essential to improving drawing all sorts of affection. Number 2, dancing. Dancing is flowy and fun, so capturing a drawing pose with a couple will help you if you are struggling with stiffness and adding contrasting personalities to your characters, because a pose like this needs opposition to be dynamic, so I think mastering dance is greatly needed for understanding how to draw couples. 3. Understanding your characters' relationships. I know some people just love drawing their OCs together being cutesy by choosing whatever couple pose on Pinterest they can find, but who are they together? What type of couple are they? I chose this pose because these two are really playful and always want each other's attention. Well, that's how they are now. As you can see before, they were just lovey-dovey without any sort of personality. The poses were dynamic, but they didn't show a distinct relationship. It was mostly just a random pose and Andrew blushing like crazy. I'm not too surprised though, because in the webtoon that I started and haven't updated in literal years, that's all Andrew was, a blushing mess around Taylor because he thinks she's cute, which isn't bad per se, but I wanted to change it up a bit. Now they're different and have more of a complex dynamic, so now their old drawings seem a bit off, sadly. I recommend thinking about how your couples are written. Are they just a couple who's cutesy, or are they more than that? It's up to you to decide. Having that set in stone will get you to capture your OCs in the most accurate way as possible. And who doesn't want that? Number 4, their love song. Find a song that truly encapsulates the vibe of your OC's relationships. Listening to it can bring lots of inspiration and scenarios that can spring into your head to draw for them. Lastly, number 5, TV/movie references. Look for other characters in different media that are like your written couple. Doing this can be fun because you can use the audio to practice your characters interacting. For example, I animated these two characters using the audio from Aristocats. This is so fun because you get to play around with your character's body language. You also get to mess around with how your characters react to certain situations. It's just developing them further into a well-rounded character, which is awesome to see. Now that you got all these lovey-dovey tips, you can master the drawing of affection in no time. Well, I ain't a professional, so don't hold too tight on that statement. Please don't. Don't get mad at me. What I'm actually trying to say is that I hope this helped in some sort of way. I'm happy to be a part of your art journey in any way, shape, or form. If you enjoyed this video, check out my other ones to hear me yap some more. I never actually made a tutorial before, so if you think this wasn't helpful, let me know what you would like to see in one. Make a tutorial on how to make a tutorial. That sounds like a pretty weird assignment, but also pretty cool. I am just rambling at this point. Thank you for watching and see you around again.